When designing a part for manufacturing, your project's requirements and constraints are going to dictate what material to use. In this lesson, we're going to go over how to pick out the right material for your project. So let's get into it. In the last lesson, we ended talking about an overview of DFM, or design for manufacturing, in which we can take the reality of the real world and combine that with the fantasy world of CAD. With that, we talked about an equation. So material plus the machine kind of equals that reality and what we need to play in. In this lesson, we're going to talk about that material section and how to pick the right material for your project. Throughout this lesson, I'm going to be talking about two different examples in which I'm building, say, 10 motorcycles. The first part that I'm designing is a front fork, and the other one is a chain tensioner for the motorcycle. So let's come over here to the board and get into this one. The first thing that you need to do when you're designing a project, and this is what I always do, is understand the requirements and constraints of the parts that you're designing to properly pick that material. Now, there's a list that I go through before I do this, kind of subconsciously now, but at the very beginning, I work through it actually on paper. And the first thing is the characteristics of that material that I need to have. If I'm designing this motorcycle, they're going to be outside. There's, say, salt on the roads, that different environmental aspects and stuff that are going on outside. I need these parts to be corrosion resistant. So stainless steel, aluminum fall underneath that category. I might, or try to at least avoid steel parts on this so I don't have rust issues. Now, this list can be super, super long. It can be a lot of different things. I just have 3 examples here to kind of work through. The next one is wear resistant. My front forks aren't going to see a lot of wear, so I don't necessarily need this part to be wear resistant, but my chain tensioner is definitely going to see some wear, so I'm going to be picking a part that has a little bit more of that resistance. So front fork can be aluminum or stainless steel at this point, but maybe this one I don't really want it to be aluminum just because of that wear issue. Now, chemical resistance, these parts, relatively speaking, I'm not going to be seeing a lot of chemicals, so I'm okay to be kind of open-minded on my materials. Now, moving from there, now that I kind of understand a little bit of material characteristics, I can move on to machinability, or in this case, formability. Now, if we stay with this front fork for a second, the machinability of this, stainless steel, aluminum that I've kind of gotten from my characteristics, either one are going to work for this part. So I'm kind of good to keep those both on my list. Now for this one, we kind of kicked off aluminum just because of its wear resistance, but say 6000 series aluminum would have been good enough for me. In the machinability, formability aspect though, I cannot bend 6000 series aluminum. It falls off my list. And that kind of isolates it down to stainless steel. So I'm kind of, throughout this list, I'm funneling down the amount of materials that fit in so that I can pick the right one. Now cost. Cost is always a tough one. Depends on what you're working on, who you're working for. If you're working for a large corporation with a large budget, maybe cost isn't an issue for you. If you're like me, working in my garage on these 10 motorcycles, cost is going to be pretty important. I'm going to be trying to pick the materials that fit within my budget. Stainless steel is always more expensive than aluminum, so maybe that leans me over to the aluminum side on its own. Tolerances. Tolerances fit in a lot of different aspects. The raw material comes with tolerances, and maybe I need to pick certain materials with that idea in mind. The tighter the tolerance, the more the cost goes up, so these can be very much related. And also on the manufacturing side, the machines that I have at my disposal are going to end up changing that as well. The material aspects itself, say aluminum, is going to machine differently than stainless steel as well. The softer the material, generally speaking, the harder to hold that tighter tolerance. So just understanding what that criteria is in mind is going to end up helping you pick the right material. Now, surface finish. This is more of a cosmetic aspect. If my parts are going to be in front of a customer, say this front fork, then I'm going to want something that is cosmetically appealing. With this one's anodized kind of clear aluminum. It looks beautiful. It's great. Stainless steel also is going to have a nice look. So it's just kind of what I want that to be at the end result, understanding what that finished product is going to look like. Weight is a great factor to put into place. With the motorcycle, I don't want them to weigh too heavy. I could build the whole thing in stainless and it's going to weigh a ton. or I could have aluminum aspects to drop that weight. So I'm going to be playing with that the entire time as I'm building these parts. Lead time is a tough one as well. If you're building one part and you have some time, then lead time is probably not even going to be on your list. If you're trying to build hundreds of parts every week and you're selling them to customers, then lead time is going to be a very important factor. Some materials are much harder to acquire than others, and they're going to dictate what material you can pick. Realistically, this list, though, as you kind of go through it, is going to lead you down to a specific material. And once you pick out that material, it's going to lead you to what we're going to go over on the next lesson. So that kind of finishes it up here. On the next lesson, though, we're going to talk about how these materials come in different forms and how to pick that right form for your design. So we'll see you on the next one.